Hey, welcome back to my channel and my platform. I'm Tara Jones-Williamson. Thank you so much for watching this video. This is the second part of my series of how I built my backyard garden with the help of family and friends, of course. So I am starting off this video by showing you how I am building my raised beds. Yes, my $50 raised beds. And so I'm just so excited because these were the most inexpensive way and also the least labor and tool intensive way in order to create these raised beds. And that was fine with me because as I embarked on this journey of creating a backyard garden, I wanted to use stuff that was sustainable, that will last me a while, but also that was the most cost effective and the least energy intensive, right? And so I built these beds on my own. I did a total of 6 of them, and then I had 2 other beds that were gifted to me, but I did a total of 6 of them all by myself. Now, the items that I'm using, the concrete blocks that you see me stacking up too high, are the Old Castle retaining wall blocks from Lowe's. So if you go on Lowe's.com, type in Old Castle, one word, which is the brand name of the item, retaining wall blocks, and you'll see these blocks that have like 4 slats in them. And when you get some boards, some cedar wood boards or whatever type of wood you want to get, mine are cedar, the little planks fit right into those grooves and holds it all together. And then you can put your soil and stuff inside, right? And so my raised beds are 2 feet wide by 8 feet long, and the depth is 12 inches. So if you want to do the same thing that I'm doing and go get your boards cut, make sure that one side you have that is 2 feet cut to 2 feet. The other side is cut to 8 feet, and that the width or the depth of the board when it's sitting on its side is at least 12 inches. The reason why you wanted 12 inches is because when you have plants in your garden that require it to have some space for the roots to go down deep in order to uphold the plant and be rooted and not top heavy and things like that, you need space, right? For example, tomatoes. Tomatoes like to send their roots down pretty deep, right? So you want to make sure that your beds are not too shallow to where your plants are not being able to thrive and be successful, and you can only grow shallow plants, all right? So always keep that in mind. Now, the next thing that I did, and you'll see later in the video, is that I filled each of these raised beds halfway with leaves, and then the top half I filled with soil, compost, and Starbucks coffee grounds, spent coffee grounds that I got from Starbucks, okay? And so let's kind of talk through this on the method to my madness, all right? So putting leaves at the bottom of your raised beds, from my research, is like one of the best things you can do to feed your soil. So successful gardening is 1, about healthy plants, but 2, about healthy soil that is rich in nutrients, that is ready and available for the plants to uptake through their roots, right? So when you use leaves falls down from trees, and they not only cover the area, but they decompose and they give the plants and trees and anything else around nutrients to grow. If you notice, no one waters and fertilizes a forest, right? Yet forests, untouched, unhelped by humans, right? They have the most lush green leaves ever. Like, you could just drive down the street, and if you're driving in a forested area, or if you see a trail, you're running on a trail, and it just has a really nice lush canopy of green leaves and things like that. Trees didn't get fertilized by us, right? They use their own leaves to break down into the soil and put them nutrients back in the soil, give those roots some more nutrients so that they can flush out new green leaves every year. And so if you want your garden to be successful, collect leaves that you don't want in your yard, or collect it from somebody else like I did. I went around and went to different neighbors and people that I know who have trees in their yard, and I got leaves from them, and I filled the bottom of my raised beds. And then I filled the rest with soil, compost, and free Starbucks coffee grounds. And then that also saves you money, because the less money you have to spend on adding soil into your raised beds, but it's, you know, these are also beneficial and they were free, the less you spend on the soil that you have to put in. Now, the soil that I use is the Kellogg's raised bed soil. Again, I don't think it matters what soil that you use, as long as it's like a potting soil, a raised bed soil that's not super compact, that is light and fluffy and airy, but it has some water retention properties at the same time. That is what you want to go for, okay? So I use the Kellogg's raised bed soil. I bought it from Home Depot. That was the most cost-effective brand that was available in my area, based on what I was looking for as far as soil. Then I put compost in there, and I went to Menards, which is right by the Home Depot in my area. I went to Menards and got the horse and cow and horse manure mix, or mushroom and horse manure, something in mushroom manure. And I threw those in there as well for them to start breaking down over the summer. A lot of people say that the bagged manure is not ready yet to be used as compost, but I just threw it in there anyway because it's going to break down through the elements. Again, I'm building this all out in April, and by May and then June and July and August, like, it has time to settle, break down. The leaves got time to settle and break down. The soil that I put in there is enough to sustain the first round of crops that I'm going to plant. At least that's what I thought in my mind, you know. So that's exactly what I did. And then what I did was I put mulch everywhere. Again, in my last video, my goal is to have an aesthetically pleasing garden that have minimal weeding that is needed, right? If I have a ton of weeding to do, I am not going to want to go out there and weed, right? Gardening is already a labor of love by sowing the seeds, taking care of the seedlings, putting them in the dirt, managing pests, watering, fertilizing, all those different things, right? The last thing that I want to do is be spending a ton of time weeding. And so I eliminated that by putting this landscape fabric down, and I made a video on this. Go back to part 1. But then also in a couple of clips, you're going to see that I actually put down a ton of mulch. They dropped off the mulch to our backyard, and my cousin and I knocked it out in like 4 hours, spreading the mulch all around the garden, and it has suppressed the weeds tremendously. I am so grateful that I took the time to do that. And so I built 4, 5, 6 raised beds all together. You kind of see right there where they are. Here's the mulch. I use cedar mulch, although everywhere is said, oh, cedar mulch is great if you don't want any insects, if you don't want insects around your home. Typically people mulch with cedar mulch, but my pollinators have been thriving this garden season. Even though I have cedar mulch down, there's spiders in my garden, there's little beetles in my garden, there's the potato bugs in my garden. The cedar mulch did not deter any pollinators, especially the beneficial ones, from my garden. And so I really love the way cedar mulch looked. And so I'm just so grateful and thankful that I just took the moment and took the time to do this, and for my cousin who helped me spread all of this, because in the next clip you're going to see how good it looks. My garden beds are ready to be filled and just put to use. I have my husband and my son bring all of the bags from the front out of my car of the garden soil and the compost, and they like dropped it in there. Again, a lot of hands that makes the work light. I am just so grateful and thankful to my cousin, my nephews, my nieces, my daughter, my kids, everybody who helped make this garden a success and help me out, because people are just ready and willing to help me out on this project. And so here's a close-up of the garden beds. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you have any questions about any of this, please let me know in the comment section below, and I'll see you in my next video.